What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Gallop Out. I'm your host, Ryan. And as usual, I get to be joined by my co-host, Jackson. Jackson, what's going on? It's a little early in the morning. I'm just waking up. I haven't had my coffee. I've done very little to start my day, but let's get into this early pick 5 carryover at Keeneland.
Yeah, you sound a little tired, bro. Like you just rolled out of bed maybe about 4 minutes ago. But that's okay because I know you put in the work last night. And, it's always exciting when you have a big carryover like this, especially at Keeneland where the sequences they're always pretty tough.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with you. I did just roll out of bed maybe 5 minutes ago. My coffee is not even ready to, ready to go yet. So, Jackson, you've got your coffee. I am extremely jealous for sure.
So good.
That being said, though, that's not going to stop us from having a good show, rolling right along and getting this thing going. So no one hit the early pick 5 yesterday at Keeneland. Carried over, I think, 259,000 and change into the early pick 5 sequence today. I'm excited to get into it. I thought it was a tough sequence. I don't think it's going to, carry over again necessarily, but hey, crazier things have happened.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think it was going to carry over again. And, I initially looked at it and I'm like, oh, this thing's going to be chalk, 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 chalk. And then I actually did my deeper dive. And I think you could try to get by some of these favors in these races. I don't think they have to win. And I thought a lot of them, I think like 3 or 4 of them had one race where like, okay, if they run that race, yeah, they deserve to be favorite. But then they have 2 or 3 others where they look a little vulnerable. So you kind of got to make some decisions on these shorter price horses.
No doubt. I will pull up the past performances here. Let's check in with our comments. Actually, got some funny comments. Funkel has joined us. Geez, looks like the dead has just arisen. Yeah, pretty much, man. I was up pretty late last night, and yeah, I mean the rest is the rest.
Did you go out?
So went out for the Thursday night football game, but other than that,
it's a great game.
I'm just it was a good game unless you're a Browns fan, and I had to watch Joe Flacco, the guy we just traded away. Go ahead and light up the Steelers.
You do know the game ended at like 8:15, right?
I do, but then I came home and I was up late doing work, watching workouts for some of these first-time starters we got. I'm busy. Okay. I got things going on, and then I just did not get out of bed until
I was ready to call you old, but we'll wait for that for a couple more years.
No, you got a little bit longer on that one. Jackson, we're gonna throw up the past performances here, and we'll get started. Oh, that's the wrong race. We'll get started with race number 1. Race number 1, we're going 6 furlongs, $100,000 maiden claimer, 3-year-olds and upwards. The ticket will be up in just a second for us to see. But Jackson, you are singling the horse on the rail, Army Nurse.
I can single it right out of the gate, and I think we definitely start with the favorite in here, right? Because she's going to be very short out there for Brad Cox. She's got the outside post. That is our shenanigan. Hasn't run since January though, and again, we were talking before, like there's some horses in this race, some favorites in the sequence, I should say, that, if she runs back that race she ran right here at Keeneland last fall, she's probably going to win. But all the rest of her races, like they're not a standout at all. Like you got to kind of decide which version of her is going to show up in this spot. I don't love that she's in for the tag off the bench. I don't know if that's necessarily the greatest sign ever. I wasn't able to watch any of her workouts on tape because most of them came over at Ellis. So I felt like a bit of a guess in this spot. She's not like a super speedy type either. So I have no problem taking short prices on horses and just hammering them. But this just wasn't one that got my motor running. So I wanted to try to beat her in this spot. I don't know if you felt the same way, but that's how I'm approaching this favorite.
Well, pick 5 tickets are now up at the bottom of the screen. We do feel the same way. Took a little bit of a different approach in the sense that I am not using the first-time starter from the rail. I just thought that's going to be a really tough horse to trust, but I do like the angle that you're taking. I'm taking a similar one, I guess. We'll start with the 7 Perfect Union, who I feel like the early speed and the recent racing is going to help, get this one to the front end under James Graham today. Keith DeSormo, he does this move semi-frequently. I like when he goes turf to dirt. And, the dirt works. They may not be the sharpest, but at least he seems to be moving well over the surface. As I just kind of gather my words. And I do like how he's come to the races this summer. I know those were on turf at Colonial, but both of those buyer speed figures at least show a good amount of ability. So if he can take that over to dirt, we've seen what Tiz the Law can do on dirt and turf, synthetic. He's kind of that all-around stallion, at least so far in his stallion career. And then the number 2, Hampton. Go ahead.
No, I took a really long look at the 7 as well. I watched some of her works from earlier on the year and on the dirt, and she seemed to struggle a little bit. That was the only reason I left her off.
That's fair. I obviously Desormo, saw it fit to put this one on turf early. That probably should tell you that maybe turf is this one's best surface, but I don't know that this is the strongest field. If James Graham can kind of get out there from that outside draw, that might be all it takes if the 8 maybe doesn't have that same early speed. Another one I wanted was the first time starter, Hampton's Affair. Hopefully this one's going to be taking, a little bit of money to show that, she's live. But I do like the Indian Charlie. Dam side first time starters typically they tend to be maybe a little bit quick. Authentic's been off to a pretty good start to his stallion career as well. Has thrown some perfectly fine first time starters. And I just thought this field is almost crying out for a new face. So I want to take the one on the surface switch and a first time starter just because I'm with you. I don't really trust the 8 off of the really just one effort that has that wins versus field. And to be fair, that was the only time this horse has been favored. And it was the only time versus maiden claiming ranks. And it was maiden $150,000. But still, I'm gonna probably opt to try and beat this horse today, along with you. You are singling the 1. I'm going with the 2-7.
Well, let me talk about the 1 super quick because I didn't.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot that you hadn't talked about the 1 yet. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think she's interesting in a race, as we both seem to agree that the horses that have run in this race they're just fine. Like, they're nothing special. I think if there's one of these firsters has any ability at all, they're going to be able to beat them. And watching her workout on the 3rd of October over at Keeneland, she looked pretty good. She was in company with a couple other rivals. She was on the rail, and it was a fast time from the gate. And I think she did it well within herself. It seemed like she has some ability there. Obviously, that's probably the case. They paid $200,000 for her at one point. So I would imagine there's some speed in with this filly. And Brian Lynch, first time, I'm not a huge trainer stat guy because you can kind of manipulate them the way you want them to sometimes. But Brian Lynch, first time starters, maiden claiming, 3-year-old and older, all in the dirt. A lot of caveats here, but stay with me. 4 for 9 and 7 in the money. So that's first time starters and maiden claimers, 3-year-olds and older on the dirt. So that's pretty good stats. Pretty good stat there. And again, this is not a field where I think it's going to take superstar to beat some of these horses that have run before. So give me the 1. I do think she's going to show a lot of speed in here. She seems like a horse that's either going to win or have the lead at the quarter pole and finish last. So let's get this one home and really blow this thing up to kick off the sequence.
I like it, and you gotta love that you're with Army Mule's strongest stat as a sire, and that's 3-year-old first time starters, 13 for 48, 27%. So you gotta go for that at that point. All right, we'll move on to race number 2. We're going a mile and an 8th, claim $20,000. But first, to recap race number 1, I'm going 2-7, and Jackson singling the 1. Next up, race number 2, I am using the 1 and the 6. But I have a bit of an unusual ticket where I have no singles, but I didn't have the strongest opinion, so I'm not using favorites and somebody else. So 1-6 for me, 1-2-6-8 for Jackson. So we'll start with the rail. It is the favorite. Iron sharpens iron. Go ahead and tell me your point on the 1 horse that we both used.
Yeah, well, this is another favorite where if he runs back to that race 2 back on August 16th, he's going to win. But that race is a massive outlier, and everything else he's done on his page as of recently. So you kind of like, which version of him is going to show up? I would lean towards the version that we see more often, the high mid-60s number, but he's tough to leave off because he does like this track. He's run very well at Keeneland. He beat Burnham Square at Keeneland here. That was a really random maiden claiming race that ended up being pretty productive. So he's one I hate using favorites like this and then using others, but this for me was the race where I had the least amount of confidence in. So I just was trying to survive it. I fear him too much to leave him off.
Yeah, I'm with you. If he runs that race 2 back, he's absolutely going to win and blow the doors off. And his 2-turn efforts have not been bad. I know that last out effort maybe looks pretty bad on paper because he didn't do much running there towards the end. But, he was kind of up close to a relatively fast race for the level, and time form had it, pretty significantly faster than Beyer. So maybe I'll give that a slight excuse. But yeah, he is going to have to get back to that effort 2 back. You also used the 2 in here, who I assume is going to be your speed play. I'll let you talk about this one for just about 30.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the 1 is that's Ryan to get his coffee. The other thing about the 1 is there's not a whole lot of speed outside of this 2 Magic Mover and possibly the 6 horse as well. So this is a speed play for me. He's a colt, 3-year-old colt that's still relatively lightly raced. He also has that going for him, where a lot of these horses are a lot older. We kind of know what we're getting from them now. So coming from Delaware, if he can get towards the front, I don't see why he can't be he's dangerous in the spot. Won't be shocked if they leave him alone in the lead. So I do want to use him as well. Not a super strong opinion again in this race. I just want to use both speed horses in here. So I'm going to use the 2 Magic Mover. And before Ryan gets back, we might as well go to the next horse. I don't think I can scroll for him yet, but it's in my blood, who is probably the other speed play. It's in my blood is number 6, 9-2 on the morning line, coming out of a race at Churchill Downs where I don't think he was ridden as aggressively as he could have been in that spot. That seemed to cost him because his best races are all when he's been able to be up on the front. You look right, you go back in his page when he won on June the 7th at Belterra. He had an 8-length lead down the backstretch and won that race. His other win came at Churchill Downs as a 2-year-old. Another race where he was on the lead. So he's definitely a horse that does his best work towards the front end. And it sure seems like today he's going to have that scenario for him because outside of the 2, who else is going to challenge for the lead? It seems like he's going to just park himself, a half a length on the lead, and it's going to be pretty uncontested pace. So he's definitely a horse I think you should be worried about. And he's definitely more consistent than the 1 as well. You see those 70 buyers he's run in his last couple of dirt races. He has that going for him, I would say.
Yeah, the 6 is my top pick in here. I did use the 1 just because, again, that 2-back effort, I think, most likely wins for fun versus this group. But I thought this was the horse that is that most consistent, as you pointed out. I know the 3-back effort, a bit of a kind of outlier where the first, that was at Belterra. He went wire to wire pretty easily, but he's still run really well versus good competition at Keeneland, Churchill, and Churchill, most recently. So, yeah, I'm with you. I want to give this one a shot. I'll go 1-6 in here. I feel like it's going to be either the 6 who's kind of going to be more forward, maybe tracking off of the 2, or if they kind of heat things up on the front end, I think the Rail Runner is going to be the kind of the best closer in the group. You're also going to use another McPeak runner in number 8, Look to the Cross, Kenny McPeak and Manny Esquivel.
Yeah, with this one, he obviously needs to run better than he did last time. That was not good. It was only 10 days ago, though. I do think it's a good sign that they will him right back in a very similar spot, arguably a little bit softer spot as well. So he's a horse that'll be coming from up the pace. I think it's, if he runs back the race last year on the dirt, that was a good race. That was a number that fits against his bunch. That came as a 2-year-old. And you got to think he's probably taking a step forward from 2 to 3. Again, it's just a matter of can he reverse form from what happened last week, because that was obviously dreadful.
Yeah, that was not a good showing last out here at Keeneland, but has some other races certainly to get back to. That'll wrap up race number 2. I'm going 1-6. Jackson going 1-2-6-8. Move on to race number 3. Race number 3, 7 furlongs, 3-year-olds and upward fillies and mares, restricted maiden special weight. It's still, let me refresh the page so we can see the updated scratches, as Ashes and Diamonds will not be participating in today's events. Picks for this race, I went 3-6. Jackson went 2-3-6. So Jackson, we are pretty similar. We're going to start with you. We'll go with the 2, scooch over. Our buddy Shane O'Neill just texted in our group chat and said if you use one McPeak, the other's going to win. I'm fading both of them, but you're going to use this one, again, trained by Emmanuel Esquivel.
Yeah, well, again, I think this is a race. Well, we can talk about the 2 as well as the favorite because they're coming on the same race. And if you go back and watch that replay on that Churchill Downs race, it seemed like a race that just wasn't that good because at the 8th pole, there's 4 horses across the track. There's a 5th horse making a move on the outside. There's a 6th horse on the rail trying to make a move. And usually when you see that, it's a sign that the race just isn't all that good. I mean, it seemed like Plaza Q was begging someone to pass her. No one did. To me, she's had her chances. Like if she was going to win, it was probably last time, or maybe even the time before that. I don't know. She just doesn't do much for me. I get that second off the bench, and she's got a good outside post, but I wanted to try to beat her in this spot. I just wasn't overwhelmed with her, and I think there are some interesting alternatives in this race, and the 2 is one of them for McPeak. She is lightly raced. She's only run twice. I like the slight cutback for her because she has lost ground late in both of those races, especially the last one. I mean, she seemed like she was going to go right on by. And wasn't the case. So maybe the cutback in distance is just what she needs, and she'll be a horse coming from off the pace.
Yeah, that last out effort that a few of these runners are coming out of, I don't want any of them. I know both McPeak runners come out, and he entered both last time. He enters both this time, and they kind of have those complementary running styles. But when one of them doesn't get the job done, it makes me wonder maybe are they both really that good? And would he have them kind of go against each other if he thought they both really had a good shot at winning there? I know they have, again, they're not going to get in each other's way because they have complementary running styles to each other. But that was, just me trying to play against for the same reason that you mentioned watching the replay, where I just didn't think that the 2, the 7, and the 9 were coming out of a very strong race. You mentioned a bunch of them tried to make a move, and it didn't end up working. So I reverted to rule number 1. So I went with number 3, Classy Beach. Not my top pick.
Can you enlighten people on what that rule is in case you're not aware?
Of course. I'll certainly get there. 2 back. I like the work, at least on paper, from Churchill Downs. Wasn't able to find that one. Omaha Beach. I love his first time starters. They've been so sharp to debut. And this one's going to be a 3-year-old. Luis Saez, Eddie Keneally teaming up. They've had a tremendous amount of success when they team up together, both at Keeneland and elsewhere, above a $2 and 50-cent ROI anywhere you look over the past year. So I thought Classy Beach might be able to take it to this field early. And I was mentioning rule number 1. Rule number 1 in horse racing is nobody passes Luis Saez in the stretch. It doesn't happen. Obviously it does happen from time to time, but it is very hard to pass that guy in the stretch. And rule number 1 is that nobody gets past him. So I'm going to use the number 3 Classy Beach on my ticket. And what I don't think is the strongest maiden special weight field, and I think it's another one where a first-time starter that might be pretty well meant can take it to them early. I don't see a purchase price, so I feel like this must have been some sort of private purchase or something like that. It doesn't look like a homebred. But we'll talk about you also used the 3, Jackson. So what were your points on him?
No, I didn't have much to add. She's a fresh face in a race that seems like you're asking for one. So I definitely use.
My top pick in the race is the number 6 Glamorama. Debuted at Gulfstream Park earlier this spring in March. When fading and kind of finishing 5th and didn't do much running, but has had significant time off. Okay, I'll be honest. The purchase price concerned me a little bit. This one's by Justify and only sold for $40,000. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement for a sire like him. And add on top of that, out of a Galileo mare, you'd think that the purchase price for this one, you'd maybe want to add another 0 to that 40,000 and make it about 400. But we didn't get that. But I was able to watch the workout on September 12th and then one way back. But the September 12th one looked strong enough. I'm not, a workout pro by any means, but I like the way that she was moving inside of a workmate Echo Sound for Rusty Arnold as well. And then, came back with a bullet on September 30th. I wasn't able to find that one, but certainly looks like she's rounding into some good form fresh off the bench. And again, I feel like a fresh face in this race might be the key to taking this one down. So I thought Glamorama, you get Tyler Gaffleone, who if he's not leading writer, he's going to be at some point because he is writing fantastic at Keeneland, and he seems to be on a winner at least once a day. I do see Irad below him, I guess, has 3 more wins, but I'm going to go ahead and say Tyler is going to take that title before the end of Keeneland racing. But I'll take Glamorama on top. I'll go 3-6 in a race that I think is begging for a new face. Jackson, your thoughts?
Nah, I'm mad at you. You literally stole all my notes. That's crazy, dude. I had the exact same notes as you. Yeah, she was the horse I think is by far the most interesting. I want to press her up in this spot. The debut was okay. It wasn't the greatest field, but she was always stuck on the rail. I don't know why Gulfstream does this, but in the turf races, they start the gate. They put the gate on the outer rail, so the horses all go break to the left, and in the dirt they just start literally at the rail, and it's just such a huge disadvantage for the horses that are on the rail, which she was, and she just never seemed comfortable in that race. I think getting towards the outside would do her some good. And as you mentioned, I thought it was really interesting that they're working this horse with a horse like Echo Sound, who's greatest stakes filly. And I thought she went much better. Maybe not much better, but I did think she was going better than Echo Sound on that work on the 12th. So I think she's working really well coming into this. And I won't be surprised at all if she shows up with a pretty big effort today.
Yeah, I'm happy that I got your insights on the works. You are a little sharper at that than myself. But I felt like visually she did look good. And inside of a horse like Echo Sound, anytime you work a maiden with a multiple-time winner and a stakes caliber horse like Echo Sound, that's got to be a big vote of confidence. And it's got to tell you that a horse is training really well. So I'm with you. I really wanted to press this horse up. I really almost singled this horse. But Classy Beach, the Omaha Beaches are normally so good, and this horse looks like a horse that's kind of meant to win here in this spot, and this is not the strongest field. So 3-6 for me, 2-3-6 for Jackson as we keep moving to race number 4. We're on the turf, and we're going 5.5 furlongs, 2-year-old maiden special weights. Picks are up on the screen as they have been the entire show. I'm going 2-3. Jackson is going 3-8-9. I'm actually going to start this time with the number 2, Lion Lake. 5-2. You get Brendan Walsh, Tyler Gaffleone. You are not using this one, Jackson, but I thought the cutback off of the mile effort at Kentucky Downs is going to be an interesting angle to play. This one had a little bit of like early speed. I know they kind of go fast at Kentucky Downs that time of year when they didn't get much rain. It was a bit of a speedway, so maybe the fractions are a little faster. I also didn't know that the timing was the best during those races. But either way, I think second-time starter in this spot, turning back to the 5.5 distance, certainly bred to love the turf. That's no question. Walsh and Gaffleone have done nothing but win this meet. Every time I look up, those connections are in the winner's circle. So I thought this one was, interesting enough. Second time out, cutting back, should have some foundation from the first. Probably going to need a little bit of speed, but I thought there's a chance that there's at least enough speed to give this one the chance to kind of close into it.
So you view this cutback as a positive then for her? Because I wasn't quite sure. They debuted her at a mile, and she took a lot of money in there, and she ran okay. I mean, it wasn't anything special. She didn't run poorly, but it was just fine. And now she's cutting back to 5.5. I don't know. I didn't view that as a great sign, but obviously we see it a little differently.
And that's all right. We are both seeing the number 3 Defina as a horse that we can't leave off of our tickets. You're using this one, as am I. Frankie Dettori for Kevin Attard. Not connections we see all that often down here at Keeneland.
Yeah, another race where I didn't like the 2, who's the proven horse, and I really didn't like the 4, who comes out of race at Indy that has just the form of that race has not held up at all. The horse that finished 3rd, I bet quite heavily yesterday at Indy and was awful against maiden claimers. And there's been a few other horses that came back at odds on and lost. So just doesn't seem like that was a very good race that day. I'd be against the 2, and I would be against the 4. The 3, as you mentioned, kind of interesting that she bothers to show up here. Tar doesn't show up here often, but when he does, they've run pretty well. He's only I think he's like 1 for 6 at Keeneland, but he's been in the money, I think, 3 or 4 times. And the 2 horses that didn't run well were in the Breeders' Cup, and they were like 50 to 1. When he ships here, they're running well. And I think it's really interesting that she's bothered to show up here. She could be at Woodbine and be 2 to 1, but no, she's here. They get to Tori, and she's going to be a bigger price. So definitely a horse worth including, I think.
Absolutely. And, I might have a single. I might be able to single the 2 now that Noah has chimed in and said this 2 stinks, bruh. Yeah, so that might be all of the confidence that I need to take the 3 out and just single this 2 because my guy was that's a vote of confidence as far as I'm concerned. But we're gonna keep going. We'll go to the 8 Beach Heist, William Walden, and I'm with you. This one I gave a second look to, but when I didn't see one of those top jockeys, I thought maybe this one's not one of those high caliber ones that he tends to debut. But I'll let you say your points on the number 8 for Will Walden, who again he doesn't seem to lose much.
Nah, it seems like he's live every time he's sending a horse out. And I watched that work on the 19th out of the gate at Turfway. She crushed a couple of rivals out of the gate that day. She was way the best. Seems like a horse that has a lot of speed, and I just thought it was really good. I definitely want to use her in this race where I don't like the other firsters in here. And as we talked about, Will Walden is doing really well, so definitely want to use her. And even if she doesn't run well in this spot, she's a horse I'll bet back automatically at Turfway in a few weeks because she seems to be handling that service really well. So hopefully she can translate it to the turf. But if not, definitely want to keep an eye on for later this winter.
Yeah, that's a good point to add this one kind of to your stable notes, almost no matter what, just because, I'm with you. It seems to handle that Turfway Park synthetic. This feels like get a race under the belt, go to Turfway, and, I'm with you on that. I'm not going to fight you at all. Number 9, Ocala Gala, Cherie, with Jose Ortiz, first-time starter going 5.5. You like this one as well? Yeah,
Cherie seems to be struggling a tad at this meet, not doing as well as she usually does, but I do think this horse is a little interesting. She's another horse that I watched her works, and I thought she looked really good on the dirt. I thought she handled it really well. Looked like it wasn't a fast work, but it looked like she did it so well within herself, and there was plenty more in the tank. Definitely has some turf pedigree on the dam side, and Cherie's not great first time, but again, trainer stat for you: 2-year-olds, first time starters, turf sprints, 4 for 9, and all other. It's small sample size, but that's 4 for 9 is pretty good. All others, I think she's like 10% overall. So the big upgrade just with the turf sprints on 2-year-olds. And obviously she gets Jose Ortiz, who's kind of our go-to rider these days. So they paid a lot of money for this filly. Definitely horse I want to use as well.
You know what? I like it. I just added that horse into my my pick 5 ticket because I didn't see that formulator note, and that one. Well, all right. No, pay attention to the workmate of the 9 tomorrow. Woof. All right.
Is Woof bad or Woof good?
Woof is likely bad. If I had to, I would imagine Woof I imagine. I think it's more of this horse is a dog, not a dog. So this feels like even more confidence for me to add the 9 into my ticket now that Noah thinks the workmate. Oh, well,
Okay.
Now he said it's good.
Okay.
No,
well,
he's not a dog. He's a cat.
He's brain dead, what he is.
That's crazy. All right. Race number 4. It's too early to go this far off the rails. I'm going 2-3. Jackson is going 3-8-9. Trio of first-time starters. Go ahead.
I'm really hoping it's a good day for first-time starters because I think I have them in every single leg.
I believe so. No first-time starters in race number 5 as we're going 6 furlongs, $40,000 restricted, non-2 lifetime winners. We see this race a little bit differently. I'm going what am I going? I'm going 1-5-7-9. Jackson is going 3-7-11. So definitely a spread race. I'll start with the rail runner in Tempers Fly. I looked to that effort way back in at Keeneland here, where actually beat the horse that's going to be favored in the first race today. And I forget that horse's name. But I thought Tempers Fly, you get Saez back aboard now that this one's going back on dirt. I thought if there's a chance, maybe this horse either won, likes Keeneland. I know got an easy pace that day last October, but could very well get out to the lead from the rail draw under Luis Saez. And we've already kind of gone over rule number 1, and that is no one passes Luis Saez in the stretch. Add on top of that, I think this one being by Vacoma is going to be a little bit more apt to, take to the dirt over the turf. Although I get why they would try at Kentucky Downs. You got to take your shots where you got to take your shots. But Michael McCarthy takes this one back to dirt, an angle that he's very good at. And those first 2 efforts to start the career, at least she built upon those efforts in the first and the second start, ended up breaking her maiden, and now drops into by far the lowest and easiest level she's ever faced. So I think if she's ever going to get back to the winner's circle, it might be versus a group like this. So I didn't want to leave this rail runner out, who I thought could get to the front early.
Yeah, my issue with rule number 1 in this race is you got to get to the lead for rule number 1 to apply. And I don't think she's getting the lead in here. What happened to her speed in her last 3 starts? I mean, I guess you could say it was a surface switch, but why hasn't she been back on the dirt in her last 3 races?
I don't know. That's a good question. But if anything, she has faced much, much better. So yeah, that's fair. I'm willing to give her a chance to, take the drop back down. Sometimes you just need to meet your friends. Sometimes you're just facing faster horses, at levels above what you're good at. So maybe the drop down here is going to be where she fits. And, who knows? Maybe she'll find that speed. If she's ever going to under any jockey, it's going to be Saez. So I got to give him a shot here. Hope he doesn't get bet down too much, or hope she doesn't get bet down too much. I like the 4-1. Hope I get every bit of that. You like the 3 Tis Purple for Steve Asmussen and his son Keith James.
Yeah, definitely needs a bit of a form reversal here. But I do think she is the horse that makes the lead in here. And oftentimes at this level, that can just be all it takes. You just get to the front end and no one really wants to pass when you get a group of horses that just love to finish second and third. So the race last time was fine. It did kind of seem like a prep. It was off of a long layoff. They went to the front against Way Better and just hit a wall. But she has that start in her belt. She does early in her career too, where she ran well, then took a big jump up second time off the bench. So I'm hoping that's the case again in this spot. And again, anytime you have a horse that has this kind of speed in a race like this, she's very, very dangerous. I don't want to leave her off my tickets at 10-1.
Yeah. No, she could certainly threaten. She's another one taking a massive class drop. And has that early speed. Certainly one to look out for. Next, we'll go to the 5 Likely Perspective. I threw this one on my ticket just because, again, just the new face, new surface angle, new face too, I guess.
There's a lot of new things happening here.
A lot of new things. Yeah, you get the trainer switch. You're going turf to dirt. You get the blinkers on. It's everything but the kitchen sink, and you can't geld a filly. So this is pretty much all the changes you can make to a horse. So, yeah, I mean, obviously this one seems like turf would be in the breeding top and bottom. But, Sweezy opts to try the dirt where this one hasn't been on yet. Gets the blinkers back on, which didn't exactly go well when trained by Albert Stahl, going the route of ground 3 and 4 back, and they took the blinkers off after those efforts and turned this one back to a sprint. But I do think, again, she was facing better going 3 back and 4 back. Last time out, probably facing similar opponents to who she's going to face in here. But that was not a bad speed figure by any means for this level. If she can take that over to dirt, she can get more forward with the blinkers going on. She can get that early position. She might be pretty tough in here. She has a lot of early foot and a lot of early gas. So she can take that to the dirt. She might be a big threat. Sweezy has good numbers throwing the blinkers on. So not one I wanted to leave out in definitely a spread race for all of us. As the 7 is a common horse that you and I have. Maila. Yikes. I mean, the 7, right? So what do you like about this Greg Foley training?
She'll be coming from way out of it, right? She's a horse that has 0 speed whatsoever. And if they just go bonkers up front, she can make some noise late. Only the 1 dirt effort, but I thought it was fine. It came against, main special weights, and albeit in an off the turf race, but the number looks pretty legit based on all the run backs in there. And she didn't break that great that day. And I don't know. I think if she runs back that effort, she can make some noise in here if this thing falls apart. I do think she's a little bit slower, or too slow to probably win in a fairly run race. But again, you're hoping for a pace collapse with this filly. And it's a little interesting that Tyler takes him out on this horse who on paper doesn't seem super interesting based on her most recent turf races.
Yeah, I agree. Certainly could have some, some factor into the late stages of this race. This one has a nice late pace figure, and there does seem to be a decent bit of pace in this race. So maybe things set up, and maybe things, horses get a little leg weary late, and this is the one kind of picking up the pieces. I at least saw it a little bit that way, where I wanted to include this one on my ticket. Next one we are going to talk about is going to be to the 11. That is Atlantic Passage. Another one going turf to dirt. Another one taking a pretty substantial class drop. What'd you like about this one?
There's a lot of things happening in this race. Another horse that's switching things up, as you mentioned. She just needs to break better than she has, especially last time. But even in her debut when she won, she didn't break that great, but was able to overcome it because she got the setup she needed. But now she's on the outside. And the race I liked the most was obviously the 2-back race. The number was pretty strong, but that was a good field. She had a pretty strong pace and just got a little tired late. That race was just so much better than what she's facing here. I think if she's able to run back that performance, she can be very competitive in here. I do like, again, she has the outside post. She's somewhat speedy, but definitely does not need the lead. Things to like about this filly, and she does get a Jose Ortiz. What did you think about the 10? Because this is another favorite, yet again, who, if she runs back to that race, 3 back, she is going to win. But then she has so many other races that just don't make her very appealing in this spot, and she's going to take a lot of money for these connections.
Yeah, look, she went to the bench in January of this year for Rick Dutrow in a starter allowance condition, and then comes back for the tag after 9 months out. Dutrow is not the strongest with this over 100, 180-day plus type layoffs. I think this is a very beatable favorite. This horse, typically off the layoff lines, regardless of who trains them, I like to look at how they did, with prior layoffs. And this one doesn't have any other than the debut, and really didn't run a step in the debut. So, maybe is one that likes to kind of get some racing shape underneath her. So one I wanted to fade, and one I didn't want to, include in my ticket. This is one that can beat me.
Okay, we lost Ryan. I think he was telling us about how the 10 can't win this race. Something like that. Something along those lines.
Well, I don't
see. There he is.
I don't know what just happened there.
All of a sudden, I was like super close up. Zoom in. Oh. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. This is a favorite that I'm very happy to try and beat in this sequence. If she beats me, then great. But she has all the signs pointing me away from her. Like she's going to be forward, but she's going to likely be wide. She doesn't really fire that fresh. And again, Dutrow not the strongest with this angle. You also faded the tag, so I assume you or faded the favorite and the 10 in here. So I assume you feel similarly.
Yeah, same reasons. Again, if she runs back that October 24th race, she's going to beat me. But I'm hoping that she's more of the horse that we saw in all her other starts, in which case I don't need her at all at a short price.
I like it. Let me finish waking up here. All right. Those are I might. Those are the early 5 races in today's early pick 5 sequence. Pulling up the pool right now. We are at $233,000 of new money, I think is what I'm showing, if I'm looking correctly.
Pretty good.
Possibly. Let me make sure that that's not just a fake news.
Yeah. You know what, Ryan? I think I'm going to play my first pick 5 of the meet today, and I'm going to play that exact same ticket right there. So let's get it home.
Here we go. I like it. Jackson's going to play that $54 ticket. We just walked you through everybody that we like. I'm going to play that ticket up above. I am going to throw in the 9 in the 4th leg, though. The Cherie horse. I like the stat that you brought up. Other than that, we're just going to roll with it. We're going to hope that, we can get this home. I don't know that it's going to pay, 6 figures, but it could pay. I mean, with how much money is going to be in the pool, it could easily pay, in the mid 4-figure range.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Let's hope it doesn't chalk out. Thank you guys for joining us. It's been fun. Special morning edition of the Gallop Out. I'm Ryan. That's Jackson. I'm going to bed. Have a good rest of your day. Good luck.